Hello everyone, my name's Hooten and welcome to GenX Analytics. I'm trying to remember the intro that I did last time. Today we're going to be going over scam projects, or how to actually spot scams before you decide to invest in some of these projects. Scams are pretty common in crypto, to be honest, especially the NFT side of things. The more I've sort of delved into NFTs, the more I've realized that there are quite a lot of scams out there. Scams can sort of range anything to do with rug pulls, so that's just when a project actually decides that during the mint process or just after the mint has finished selling out, they'll just delete the website and delete the social medias, and that's everything gone. Or you can have more of a soft rug, which is where the project, after it's selling out, will still continue to go through and sort of pretend that they are developing the project, and that's sort of another way of a scam. Another one is honeypots. Honeypots are just where if you're using like a bot to mint an NFT, you're basically just losing any funds that are in the wallet. It's more like a wallet being drained. And then you've also got the more traditional ones, which is such as phishing attempts. So someone trying to pose as something that they're not. So we're sort of going to go over these different types of scams that projects might use, and just to sort of give you a bit of advice on how to deal with that sort of stuff. All right, so without further ado, let's get straight into the video. All right, so what I've done is I've got a basic checklist of just things that I'll go through before investing in each project. Sort of website development, the team behind it, the roadmap and how I feel like the project's going to do, the uniqueness of a project, basically all of that sort of stuff, and I'm just going to go into each topic a little bit more in depth. I'd say that one of the first things and easiest things that you can actually check is just the development of the website itself. The development of the website can basically just be your main indicator. It's one that you should always do when you invest in any project. Basically, what you want to look out for when it comes to website development is just how the website is laid out. Does it actually look appealing to investors? Does it have any spelling mistakes or just any grammatical errors? Does it have any links that aren't working for the website? Is the logo implemented into the website properly? Is all the information and text on there actually relating to the project? Something like this might sound quite obvious, but you should never really overlook this sort of thing. This is, I'm sort of repeating myself, but it is genuinely one of the main things that I would check. And a similar sort of thing goes for the white paper. If a project has a white paper, not all of them do, but if a project does have a white paper, it will also be listed on the website. And again, you just want to check for the basic things such as grammatical errors, just any spelling mistakes, simple things like that really do make a difference. If you've got a project that is genuine and they are wanting to sort of make sure that the project has some longevity to it, then they're definitely going to proofread the stuff that they're posting on the website and on the white paper. Like, they're going to have multiple people reading through to make sure that there's no spelling mistakes. If you were to scam a project, you just quickly knock something together, just like a wall of text basically, and there's always going to be spelling mistakes in that sort of thing. So yeah, to conclude this bit, website development, one of the main things I'll check before minting a project. The next is the team itself. Now, the team itself can be quite hard to actually look at, as it all depends on your own risk tolerance. I mean, Bored Ape Yacht Club was an anonymous team, and you've seen how well they've done. Their floor price of that project is through the roof, and they've released several more successful projects after that. So it does really depend on risk tolerance. If you want to play it really safe for NFT collections or projects, I'd just go for a team that's been doxed. By doxed, I just mean that information has been provided about them personally, whether it's social media accounts or something like LinkedIn accounts, ID that's been given to like a third party or something like that. If a team is actually doxed, there's just a lot less chance of this particular project forming a rug or a scam, because I mean, why would they dox themselves if they're planning on just running away with all the money? Doesn't make any sense. It basically just ties faces to said project. Another thing that you can do with the information if they are doxed is to actually just look at their track record and see if they've released any collections in the past. If they have released collections in the past, then there's less chance that they are going to rug the project. And at the same time, these people that have been doxed, if they have released projects in the past, there's a good chance that the projects that they'll do in the future are going to be better because they've got more experience. So it's kind of a win-win if teams are doxed. So a way of actually checking to see if the team are doxed is just on a website. So when you go onto a project's website, they'll usually have a section that says like team, and on the team you'll be able to see links to various social media accounts, and you can just go on their social media accounts, and you can actually see whether these guys have maybe created separate Twitter accounts recently. You can see when people join that. If they've created a Twitter account in February 2022, looks a bit weird. Why would they not, use an account that's been created previously? LinkedIn is another place where quite a few of these teams might provide information for. A good thing to do is just to check that there is actually activity on these LinkedIn accounts, and they're not just fake accounts. It's quite easy to create fake accounts with just random generated faces. So another thing you can also do is right click and Google search the image, just to make sure that this person's face isn't just going to come up on the first page of Google Images, because that is, I would say, a red flag. There are some websites that are quite good for this sort of thing. I mean, Magic Eden, they have had problems in the past, but we're going to just quickly go on the launchpad and you can see what they've sort of changed. So we'll just click on this random collection, starting in a couple of hours from the time of recording. I just scroll down, they have their own roadmap there, and they also have a team. And then on this team, they've kind of doxed themselves in a way where I can see their Twitter account, Instagram, for these different guys. And they've also got a little bit of info about themselves. So I can click on this guy's Twitter, and I can see this guy's called White Panda. He's got 26.1k followers. He joined in October 2009. So you can see that these guys are actually linked to the project. So that's what I mean when it comes to teams doxing themselves. And then the same would go for the rest of these guys. So they have just a bit of a system there to say that, if you are investing in this project, we're the guys behind it, and this is what we're going to provide for you. Yeah, I mean, Magic Eden, this is something that I've not really seen before from Magic Eden. I'm assuming it's quite a new feature they've put in place. They've had some issues with the past where there have been projects that have managed to go through the process of the launchpad and then still rugged, which isn't ideal, but I mean, you live and learn. One thing that I do look at as well when it comes to my Twitter account, I use that quite a lot. I pretty much use it every day, my Twitter. I follow people that I trust within the crypto space, and I follow quite a number of different people, maybe 100, 200 people that are just across various aspects of the crypto space, whether it's into NFTs or just day trading or something like that. One thing I like to do is when I'm going through these projects and going through the teams is to actually see who else of my social following follows them. It's more of a personal preference, but if I don't see any of my trusted followers following these other projects, there's a good chance I'm just not going to bother getting into it, because if I've got 200 people that are daily on their own crypto Twitter, can't see me being the first person to find these projects. If no one else is following that I follow, basically, then I just won't bother with the project. Again, bit of a personal preference. It's not really something that I would recommend to everyone. It's just my sort of strategy that I've chosen. So the last thing on the team, if they are linking Twitter accounts, so another thing I would do is just check their followers and just scroll down and just see if any of their followers look like bots. There are third-party tools out there that you can use to determine whether some of these crypto accounts are followed by a lot of bots. It's really, really easy to buy followers on Twitter and to make your account look really big when it's really not. If you just type in, how to check Twitter accounts for bots, there'll be multiple websites on there. I won't recommend any of them. It's just up to you, to search through them and see for yourself. I've not actually tried any of those out, so that's why I've not recommended any particular website. If you found that a Twitter account has bought a lot of followers, there's a good chance that they've got more ill intentions. So just be careful on that. All right, so the next thing to look out for when it comes to spotting scams is just the utility of these projects in the first place. I'm using NFTs as an example for most of these, just because it's something I'm using actively at the moment. A lot of NFT projects now are starting to run out of ideas, especially scam ones. They'll usually just pick something that's already been done. So it might even be a derivative of something as popular as CryptoPunks that they might have on a different chain. For example, Solana. They might have something called Solana Punks. I don't know if that's a real collection. It's just more of a guess. So if there is a legit collection called Solana Punks, then I apologize. I'm not calling you a scam. I'm just using an example. So yeah, utility is sort of a big thing that I'm looking out for now when it comes to new projects. I don't want projects to just be using the same thing over and over again. And over time, scam projects will just pick up on this and they'll start providing just maybe a single service, and eventually these projects will die out, whether they mean to be rugs or not. People like me and you need to have an incentive to invest in some of these projects. So when you do invest in some of these projects, or what I do personally, is I just look for some of these utilities. These utilities can be anything from staking rewards, which is basically you just stake your NFT for a token that this project might have created, and then you can exchange that for various other things, such as auctions maybe that they might do, future collections that they might provide, just utility. Another thing could be DAO contributions. A lot of these NFT collections are starting to go into the DAO side of things, where a DAO just basically means that any holders of specific NFT collections can vote on what they basically what they want to do as a community. So for example, a couple of the projects I've got into, you put proposals forward saying, I think we should invest in these projects using the community vault, and then people who own this NFT project can then vote, yes or no on whether they agree, and then whatever the majority vote is, the NFT project will do. This is sort of another utility that sort of brings the community together. Everyone's got a common goal. They want to see the floor price of the NFT project rise. So having a DAO sort of puts this in the hands of the community. You could have something like apps that are exclusive to the owner of NFTs as well. I'll use a good example of one I've found. So this is like an app that's not exclusive to this particular project, but this is more just talking about utility. If we just click on the menu here, you can see how much utility this particular NFT project has. They have their own staking system, they have their own marketplaces, trading posts, you can send NFTs, list NFTs, build your own banners for your profiles. Like, this is what I mean when it comes to utility. You can just see how much they actually have. Disclaimer, I don't own this project at all. I'm not sponsored by the project, but this is just a good example of what you'd want out of a project. If you've got a potential scam project, they're not going to be doing stuff like this because it's a waste of time for them. So yeah, utility is a big thing, and I would recommend that you just look out for that sort of thing, whether it's on a roadmap or something like that, before you invest in these projects. Another thing is actually just the art form itself. Sometimes, just as I mentioned before getting into the utility side of things, is some of these projects will literally just be a copy of projects that have already been successful. So a good example is Bored Ape Yacht Club. That is a wildly successful, and there are other versions out there that are just more cash grabs than anything else. I'm not going to name exactly which ones, but if you just type in Bored Apes or something similar to that, then yeah, you'll see for yourself. I generally try to avoid projects that are just sort of copied the same art style, or they're using the same animals as what successful projects have already done. This is sometimes, it's more of a personal preference for me, really. If I've already seen that, some of these projects have done really well in the past, I try to just find more unique projects, maybe some animals that have never been used before. Just something that's a little bit different. Same thing when it comes to the name of projects as well. If somebody's called Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then you've also got something called, I don't know, Bored Ape Doge Club, it's just something I'll probably try and avoid. Uniqueness is quite an important thing for me, and I think there's just less chance of a scam if it's more unique. Again, it's risk tolerance. It's how safe do you want to play some of this. Throughout the video, I've been mentioning rugs, and you might be wondering what are rugs. So I've got a bit of an explainer for you guys. So there are two main types of rug pulls. Rug pull is just a term that basically means that the devs have run away with the project, with the project's money, whether that's during mint or after mint. So we're just going to go through two different types. There's a hard rug and there's a slow rug or soft rug. A hard rug is basically when a rug pull happens during the mint process or straight after, and it just means that the devs have maybe deleted all their social media, the website, Discord, all that sort of stuff. That's basically what a hard rug is. It's becoming a bit less common now because I think devs are getting a little bit smarter, or the malicious devs are getting a bit smarter, because a lot of these collections, if they do well in the secondary market, they then gain royalties on top of any secondary sales as well. So they can technically earn more if there is enough hype for the project. So yeah, I'd say that's becoming less common. The more common form that you see nowadays, and it's actually kind of harder to actually detect as well, and it's the slow rug. So yeah, more money can come from secondary sales if the project does well. So a slow rug seems to make more sense if you're looking at the scammer's perspective. As I said, slow rugs can be quite hard to detect, but the best way to detect something like this is the things that I previously mentioned. It's just also looking at the roadmap and the activity of the community and the developers as well. If you've got an active community and developers on the project, I would say there's less chance of them rugging, because they are trying to make time for the people that are invested in the project. If they're managing to keep up with the roadmap that they've provided, then that's always a good sign. Obviously, if they can provide proof for that, that's even better. Another nice thing to look out for as well, especially on the community side of things, is are they actually rewarding the community after they've completed a purchase of the collection. An example of this is maybe posting giveaways in the Discord communities or Telegram or whatever platform they choose to use. Are they responding to any questions that people might have? Are they having things like game nights or Twitter raids, collaborations with other projects, continuous maybe sneak peeks of new developments they've got? All of this kind of adds up to a thriving community if it's all there. Are they listening to ideas that the community might have to improve the project? Simple things like that. So yeah, if you just compile a list of all these different checks that I've sort of mentioned today, hopefully you'll be able to avoid some of these scam projects and rugs. One last thing that I'm going to sort of go over quickly is when you're actually looking to buy projects on the secondary market and avoiding scams that way. You can basically call these phishing scams. They've sort of made this a bit easier. Each exchange is different, each marketplace is different. On OpenSea, for example, when it comes to really new projects that are coming out, they won't necessarily be listed straight away. Now, to avoid any phishing scams, the best thing to do is just wait until the NFT collection posts in their little official link section in Discord. Most of them will have that. I'll post a screenshot of what that looks like, of just a random project that I'm a part of. Basically, the best and the safest way to be is just to make sure that you just click on the official links that they've got and nothing else. But another way of doing it for more established projects, we'll use OpenSea as an example. I want to buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club. So if I type in Bored Ape, you'll see that Bored Ape Yacht Club is there, and it will be a verified collection. You can sort of cross-reference if you're still unsure on the Bored Ape Yacht Club website. You'll be able to see that Bored Ape is a collection of 10,000 unique Bored Apes, and you can see on OpenSea this collection has 10,000 items. But yeah, the main thing to have a look at is the banner, the description, the price of some of these as well. If you already know what the floor price is of Bored Apes, you know it's going to be expensive. And then you can also see, again, that it's been verified as a collection from OpenSea. So you can see that this is a legit collection. There are probably not going to be other collections out there now that are trying to copy Bored Ape Yacht Club. Not that I can think of. Yeah, when I'm scrolling down here, you can just see that all of these are part of the same collection and verified. But yeah, when it comes to new projects, sometimes when you might type this in above, someone might have created a fake collection. So you just got to be mindful of that. That's why I just said, make sure that you're using the official links that the NFT project provides. It has gotten better now. In the past, it was quite a bit of a minefield when you were looking and buying certain projects, and I think some websites are still a minefield, so just be careful. So that's going to be it for how to spot scam projects. There's quite a lot out there. Just be careful when you're going through some of the new projects. Make sure that you're doing your own research when it comes to this sort of stuff. The worst thing that you can do is invest in a project and lose your money. So watch this video. Hopefully you've watched all of this through. And I've also done a previous video as well on just some crypto mistakes to avoid, which will help out as well when it comes to if you do fall for scams. You can sort of limit your losses. So make sure you watch that video. I will put it up here somewhere, hopefully. If you enjoyed the video, then please like it. Subscribe, comment, any sort of ways that you avoid scams. Please let me know in the comments. You can help other people by providing this information. But yeah, that's going to be everything. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.